What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I'm going to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's going on with the overall market, what you should be watching for as time progresses, what the news is saying about the market, and what data is coming out from the economic calendar. That's going to be very important for today. Before I break anything down all this information, though, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. The offer ends in just 5 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the market and Tesla. The market's trying to rebound. I warned you guys about this yesterday. It's just that it's breaking up a little bit higher than expected. I think the market has a little bit more upside coming. It's going to try to push higher. But my general view is I don't trust this move. I think that the market will eventually fail, and this is just bringing in another shorting opportunity. So I'm going to break down a bunch of these charts, show you why I think the market's going to pop a little bit higher, and why the market is still likely going to fail, and why I still see more downside in the future anyways. But let's first talk about the news, what's going on with the markets. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite lost their longest winning streaks in 2 years after Jerome Powell came out and said that the Fed is not confident that they're on a sustainable path to bring inflation down to 2%. He said the Fed may have to continue to raise rates, and there's a lot of work that still has to be done. And they'll have to wait and see if they have to raise rates again or not. So there's a possibility they may have to. We don't know for sure though, so we'll just have to wait and see. So basically, just be very patient nonetheless. The IRS has new, standard deductions that are going to be set higher for 2024. That's going to take effect for the 2024 tax year, meaning that the returns filed in 2025 will see this potentially coming out. Besides that, we have new products coming out from Gen Alpha's holiday wish lists. Good for new consumers, and it's good for them. So, anyways, that's it for the main things affecting the markets. For today at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report, the 5-year inflationary expectations, and more data involving inflation. We have Bostic from the Fed giving a speech right now, but 30 minutes after the market opens, we have this Michigan data coming out. I anticipate it might cause a move, so watch this all very carefully. Now, when it comes to Tesla, it dropped 5% after the HSBC calls it very expensive. They're saying that, Tesla has a price target of $146. They questioned Elon Musk's legitimacy and many things like that. They're also talking about their margins and a lot of scrutiny. So with all this going on, Tesla dropped. But this morning, we're seeing Ron Barron saying that, Elon Musk is still the guy. He defended Elon Musk, and he said that Tesla is going to likely be selling $25,000 cars, and they're just going to improve very soon for the future. So he's a big bull, and he believes that Tesla is not dead whatsoever, and that all these claims, and a lot of them about the short term, are quite ridiculous. So now let's talk about how Tesla's looking, in my opinion. Tesla's fighting this resistance at 210. You can see this in the pre-market. We have this minor resistance. If we break above this, it's going to push up for this imbalance at 212. Then we have this 214 to 215 area. And above that, we have 216.8 to 217. Now for support, we're going to be watching 209. If we lose this, watch 207.5-ish around there. There's also some support at 206.6, but it's not that extreme. The stronger support's around this 205 area. It's about 204. So we're going to be watching this carefully. Now, Tesla had this gap, and I don't think Tesla fully filled the gap, which is what makes it risky. If we look at the daily time frame on Tesla, you will see that this gap didn't fully fill. It came very close, but we haven't fully filled it yet. And there's going to likely be more downside for Tesla as it's looking relatively weak. But I think that in the morning, Tesla's going to make an attempt to rebound a bit. I think that it's going to try to push above 210. I think that the whole market is going to try to drag Tesla up just a bit, but this move is likely going to fail. So if it does get up to like 212, 214, it's going to likely fail and make its way back down to these lower levels. And I say this because the current daily candlestick looks a little bit more bearish. The 4-hour time frame on Tesla is also looking bearish. It's going to try to rebound a bit. We have these like wicks forming on the bottom, so look for a little rebound towards these higher levels. But I think the move will fail and Tesla has a bit more downside coming in the future. I think that this trend is going to perpetuate for SPY and these other tickers. Now, part of why I'm saying this would be because of Powell being more hawkish and also because of the SQQQ. This is looking, in my opinion, bullish. Now, it's going to likely come down a little bit as the market's trying to bounce, but the SQQQ is going to find a bottom. I think the bottom is already in, and this thing is going to bounce and start coming up to fill these gaps up here. So we have a gap up close to 20. I think the chart looks bullish. It's going to likely start off a little weak. The market's going to rebound a bit, but this tells us that the stock market's going to fail, and there's going to likely be more downside coming in the future later on. So first we bounce a bit, and then later on we're going to drop even more. The dollar is dropping just a little bit, but we could be forming a bullish accumulation structure off this cup and handle. So watch that carefully. The VIX is also looking bullish overall, in my opinion. I think that this thing is going to come down a little bit and then just start pushing up higher as the market has downside. So what does this mean for SPY? Basically, SPY is approaching this resistance at 436. If we break this, watch 436.5. If it gets above that, I think we could get very close to 437.5. So either 436.5 or 437.5 is where this thing could be heading towards. But I'm telling you all that I don't trust this move. It could pop a little bit higher. They could push it higher, and we're going to see this thing likely shop up here for a bit. It's designed to fool you. They want you to think the market's going to rebound, and I think that this move will fail, and it's eventually going to come back down towards 430 over the next couple of trading days, over the next week. I think it's going to come back down to 430 to fill this gap as we look bearish on the daily. We have this unfilled gap at 430. We're going to likely fill this gap. I think that the sellers are going to be back. All right, so we're going to bounce first, look for a rebound, and then a rejection, a big rejection in the future. It could happen later today. It could happen as soon as like Monday or Tuesday. There's going to be a big rejection, and this pump is likely going to be another shorting opportunity. You just have to watch and see how high it goes. A pump and drop is likely coming. On Aapl, it's basically the same thing. Apple's either forming a head and shoulders or a triple bearish divergence, because when you look at the 4 hour looks bearish, the daily candle is also bearish, and we have a triple bearish divergence that could develop if we break this high at 184. So what does this mean? This means that Aapl is either going to from a head and shoulders, come up here to this 183.5 area, then just start sinking back down, sink back down towards 180 or below that, or it pops a little higher towards 184 to 185 again, and we establish a triple bearish divergence, then we come back down. Either rejects here, or it pops a little higher and then it rejects. I hope that's as clear as possible. That is most likely what's going to happen. For support, make sure you watch 182 as key support. If we lose this, expect 180. So far, it's looking quite decent. It's trying to hold up, but I think the move is going to fail. On Nvda, I don't trust this move on Nvda. We could push higher towards 475. Could even get closer to 480. Hey, if it happens, I don't trust it. I don't trust the move. If you look at the 4 hour, 4 hours already flipping. If it tries to break higher, we have a bearish divergence establishing, and this thing is overbought. So I think that Nvidia may pop up here and reject and start retracing all the way back down towards this gap fill. I think we came very close to filling this gap, but I think that we're going to come back to this gap area at 465. It might pop towards 480. It could go a little higher. It's going to reject though. There's going to be rejection at these high levels towards 480 to 485. And then we're going to be making our way back down, all the way back down towards 465, if not 460. Look for a rejection. I find it to be very probable for Nvidia. And then last but not least, for the triple Q, it's the same thing. The SQQQ is telling us that this is going to have downside in the future. It might try to get close to this resistance at 372. If it breaks that, watch 372.65. Then we have the imbalance at 373.5. Those are some resistance levels. It could pop a little higher, but it's going to likely reject and make its way back down to 370. 368 is going to be 369 and 368 are two more supports. Then we have 366. I think, okay, when you look at the QQQ, we have this unfilled gap on the daily time frame right down here. And I think that This thing is due to come back down to fill this gap. We have one at 356. I think we have another one right here. So, in my opinion, there's likely going to be some downside coming. I think that the QQQ is a little bit overbought, and I think that it's going to fail eventually. So it could rebound a bit, retest 372, 373.5. It could pump a little bit. It might even shop up here for a bit, but I believe the move is eventually going to fail, and I think that either later on today, if not by early next week, it's going to be making its way back down towards 368 or even these lower levels. All right, guys, so that's what I have for this video. Please remain calm, cool, and collected. I hope what I said was very helpful. I'm warning everyone to not fully trust these moves, okay? Do not turn too bullish just because the market is starting to rebound a bit. Do not be fooled. All right, that's my warning. Thank you for listening, and peace out.